Hey guys, welcome back to gameandtoyreviews.com. So I just finished building my Axial SCX-10 Jeep Wrangler limited edition kit, and I wanted to walk you guys through it, kind of give you a review and talk about what I thought of it, how easy it was to put together, and talk about the build quality a little bit. I guess I'll start very quickly with just kind of what you get out of the box. So obviously it's a kit, comes with no electronics, no radio, no motor, no speed control, no receiver. When you open the box, everything is bagged, but I'll admit that it wasn't tagged very well. It was tagged, a lot of the hardware was tagged by step, but the parts came in really large parts bags, and most of the plastic came on parts trees that you had to cut off and trim up, and I'm a little anal about making sure that they're trimmed really well, so that actually took me quite a while. And they definitely included a ton of extra parts that they really don't explain in the manual. I think a lot of them were left over from the Dingo kit, and some of them are useful. I'm sure some of them still could be used as spare parts, or if you ever decide to buy a Dingo body, it'll be cool to have all those additional parts if you ever want to use them. But like I said, they're not explained in the manual very well, so it can be a little bit confusing trying to figure out which parts you're supposed to use. Each tree is individually numbered, and each part has like a letter that goes with it, but the instructions just aren't, they're not the best, but they're pretty good. I mean, they're good enough. And there's also different options. I'll get into this a little bit later, but there's different options for suspension linkages and battery placement that they don't really explain very well in the manual. I actually had to go get the, I don't remember if it was the Trail Honcho manual or the Dingo manual to understand the different battery mounting locations, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So I wanted to talk quickly about the body. I mean, as you can see, the body looks great. I painted it orange. It's got, the stickers are pretty nice. I really like the tire rack on the back. And the roll cage looks great. The only thing I don't have here, I took off the, well, it's up here. It actually does have a hardtop body, but I'm not really a fan of it. I actually think it looks better with just the roll cage exposed. The body was actually probably the most difficult part of the assembly. It's actually very complicated. It has tons of screws. The roll cage you have to fully assemble. I mean, it's probably got like 50 screws in it, and nothing is pre-dimpled or pre-drilled, and you have to cut out the body. So you kind of have to do a lot of eyeballing, a lot of measuring, and it would be really easy to mess it up. And you also have to be really careful when you cut out the window, because if you don't cut it out correctly, this gap won't look right. That's pretty much all I have to say about the body. At a minimum, I would suggest that they dimple the body post locations, because it is really hard to get it perfectly straight. And this body, if you buy it on its own, it's like $70 because of all the plastic parts that come with it at the hobby shop. So it's not something that if you mess up, you want to have to buy another one of. So let's take off the body and take a look at the truck itself. So as far as the actual build quality, it's definitely good quality plastic. They use flexible plastic in places where you might feel some impact, and stronger, more brittle plastic in areas that encounter a lot of stress. So I didn't really have any problem as far as the engineering goes. And you'll notice that since this is the kit version, this has the aluminum lower links and the steering linkages, and it also has the aluminum bodied shocks. Let's see, what else? So I guess I'll talk quickly about the frame rails. The frame rails on this are actually they're metal, which I thought was really cool. But then everything in between, all the cross members are plastic. But it seems like it's pretty sturdy. I don't really have any complaints with that. The shocks are oil filled. They actually have two springs, so you get two different spring rates on it. And I mean, they don't have as much travel as I thought they would have, but I'm used to, traditional 1/10 scale off-road vehicles. This is my first scaler, so I don't think that's odd. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to have ridiculous suspension travel. I thought that the tires seemed pretty good. They're pretty soft, and I definitely like the tread pattern. You notice that it comes with 5. This is actually a real tire on the back here. It's, I fully glued it. If for some reason, I don't know why anything would happen to one particular tire, you actually could use that one if you had to, but it's really just for looks. Let's talk about the battery tray. So in the manual it tells you to install the battery tray in the back here, but looking online and in forums, most people try to keep it up front. It's always better to have weight on the front axle for a crawler. So this is the part that I had to look up on the internet. I had to look at Axial's website and look at some of the manuals for the other kits, because it actually does come with all the posts that you need to relocate it from the back up to the front, but they didn't explain it very well in the instructions. You'll notice that the receiver box is right here. It's plenty big enough. I've got a full-size Spectrum receiver in there right now, and there's still tons of space. And typically the speed control just mounts to the side of that. Speaking of speed controls and the motor, I'm actually running the Tekin FX rock crawler system. This is the Pro version. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is a sticker for the Pro. It's a 35 turn brush setup, and all I've done is drive this around my house so far. I haven't taken it outside yet. I'm going to after this, and I'll probably post a video of that, but it seems like it's really smooth. I actually did the underwater break-in, and Tekin has great quality, so I really have I don't think I'm going to have any problems with the drive system. Let's talk about the drive shafts really quickly. You'll notice in the manual they also don't explain it that well. The guy in the hobby shop kind of warned me about it when I bought this. But you'll notice, so the drive shafts, they're plastic with metal out drives, and you'll notice that they have these grooves on them, these little marks that need to line up, and they don't explain it very well in the manual. But apparently if you don't line them up correctly, you'll get a lot of wheel hop, and I don't know if they'll break prematurely or not, but I guess I wouldn't doubt it. The drive shafts, they're plastic. That might be one of the first things I upgrade if I do like an upgrade series on this. So I want to talk about a few issues. I mean, overall the quality of the kit was great. I think it's really nice, and I was actually surprised how complicated it was. I mean, the last kit I built was like a Losi 22, and it's really straightforward. But one of the biggest problems that I had is the hardware is all hex, which is great, but a lot of the threads are really coarse, and the way they dig into the plastic, it's really easy to strip pieces out. So actually the two bottom screws that go into the transmission housing I stripped, so I already replaced it. It was like $7 to get a new housing, but just a little bit annoying. I wish that the threads were finer, that they were more like machine screws. One thing that's different, the newer version has this spur gear cover, and the older ones didn't. But I noticed like there's a little bit of interference. The drive shaft actually rubs up against it, which I think is something that they should have noticed. And then also the front drive shaft right here rubs up against this Y-link part of the suspension, which I was pretty disappointed with that too. I mean, that's something that they should have seen immediately and tried to fix. I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the spur gear. The way it sits in the transmission, it actually has a lot of axial movement, and so you can actually, when everything's put together before you put the motor on, you can actually slide it back and forth. I mean, I'd say 3 or 4 millimeters, and if you just spin the transmission before you connect the motor, it wobbles a lot. I think now that the motor and the pinion's actually pushing up against it, I think that it's going to be okay. And when I looked on a couple of forums online, people basically said that they even talked to Axial and that it shouldn't be a problem. So I guess we'll see. I'm not too worried about that. But otherwise, I mean, it's a really cool kit, and I'm really excited to go take it out and run it around, do a little bit of scaling with it. This is my first Axial, so I've been really happy with it so far. I guess I'm definitely going to put together some driving videos, maybe have another post-driving review. So look forward to that, and until next time, thanks guys.